gentlemen, to the second Monday Night Lights tournament presented by Final Form Entertainment. I'm so glad you are joining us for another Monday night. As the first iteration of this tournament was phenomenal last week, and so I'm hoping this one lives up to the same amount of hype. I'm MrBepic, obviously it's my stream, but I'm joined in the booth by my good friend Brody. Brody, how you doing tonight?
So happy to be back and to see another one of these great tournaments, because last week, like you said, super hype. Hopefully we can have another great night of Rocket League.
Absolutely. Though last week I say it was super hype and it was a lot of fun, but it was largely one-sided. With UTK or Tennessee, the eventual winner, they only dropped one game the entire tournament. They swept their first two series and lost one to Bruton Parker in the grand finals. So I made it my goal for this event to go and recruit teams that I think have a chance at beating Tennessee. That was like my sole purpose in finding teams for this week. So I'm hoping, Brody, that we don't have the same kind of one-sided series this time around.
Well, you're stacking the cards for them because they got to defend their title this week. And it's awesome even seeing the bracket having such a big refresh, because only 2 returning teams from last week is, for me, a big positive, because it shows how much talent we get to show off across the region for even just the first 2 iterations of this tournament. So super pumped to see how the bracket shakes out tonight.
And I will pop that up there real fast. I didn't have it prepared, unfortunately. I forgot about that part of production. But these are the participating teams that we have coming into tonight. And so we got UTK, Bruton Parker, the 2 returners, like you mentioned. And then Davenport, East Tennessee, Siena Heights, Texas, Florida, and King University are the other schools joining the single elim bracket. So we got Siena Heights and East Tennessee up first, which Brody and I don't know a ton about, like how they're going to perform. I'm familiar with Siena Heights from the Great Lakes CRL region, and they're a very solid roster. But East Tennessee is a complete wild card for me, because Skyline is their captain moving over from Cumberland University, and he's playing with Adrift and Landon, who are 2 players that he's familiar with, playing lands with them. But this is a new roster for East Tennessee, Brody, so we're just kind of getting treated to a new look team.
Yeah, and what better way to do it? And then putting up against a good team like Siena Heights, little region for region. I mean, East Tennessee is going to get their first taste of like very high level Rocket League action, I guess, under the banner of East Tennessee. Obviously, you helped catch me at the speed about how these guys are somewhat familiar with each other. So excited to see how that presents on the stream here today, because it's only a 5-game series. You don't have so long to try and have everything mesh on the server. So we'll see if those guys are ready and gearing to go.
I'm thinking along the same line, because we saw a lot of teams last week. It was a very evenly matched round 1 for the most part, but they went into round 1, started a little slow, and all of a sudden that was their night. I had Colorado last week making a run. I thought they could go all the way to the grand finals, but they lost. And I believe in game 5 to Florida State last Monday. That was a complete shocker. And then obviously in the matchup on the stream, Michigan State and JMU pulling that to Michigan State. I don't know, single elim is so brutal sometimes. So you do need that fast start in this best of 5 round.
Yeah, absolutely. And those game 1s mean so much more. And I wonder if the same fate will meet some of these teams tonight, because of how much talent this bracket has as well. So there could be upsets all over the first round yet again, in the fact that even like a Bruton Parker King, teams that are familiar with each other, like that one, I feel like in my mind could go either way. UTK Florida, I mean, UTK is gearing and ready to defend their title, so maybe not an upset watch there, but Davenport, Texas as well could be something pretty special as well. So I'm curious how the first round shakes up compared to last week, where I got pretty much every matchup wrong in my head based on who I thought was going to win.
Me too. That's the way it always goes with me, though. It's not easy to predict anything about Collegiate Rocket League. So real fast in Twitch chat, I'm going to do a command. There we go. That's the alt streams we have going on right now. Twitch.tv/hoodedmexican streaming that Texas versus Davenport round 1 matchup, and then Tennessee versus Florida, an all SEC match between the 1 and the 8 seed being streamed over at UTK Rocket League. So that ought to be a phenomenal match of Tammy Cracker's debut with the University of Florida. So that was one I contemplated streaming on this channel, but we had too many good matchups to go over there. So check out the alt streams while you are watching ETSU versus Siena Heights. But Brody, I believe we are about to get into this thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell the players to join up.
Awesome, we're just about ready to go. Ooh, isn't this exciting? All right, first game of Monday Night Lights again. Happy to be here with you, and I'm excited to see how this first round matchup shakes up.
And I apologize for the settings real fast. I forgot that my Rocket League audio was on mute in the cast that I did this past weekend. So here we go. Audio should be good. I was told I was quiet, so hopefully that's sorted as well. But East Tennessee versus Siena Heights. ETSU in blue, Siena Heights in orange. Two teams that I'm just excited to learn about because I've watched Siena Heights once. They played on MNL back on our Great Lakes night. This was a couple of months ago now. And they lost their series to Bruton Parker of a 4-0 sweep against a full-strength BPC. So I'm eager to see what Siena Heights looks like when they're not playing one of the top collegiate Rocket League rosters over there.
Yep, and they're gonna have to do it against an Eastern Tennessee team that wants to prove to their university that their roster's about to bring them to where they want to be, because these guys are looking good so far. Pretty back and forth though to start things out. As you probably would expect, these two teams going to feel each other out for a little bit before we get going.
Save there. 11 had to turn around really quickly to save that shot from Skyline. But ETSU, all the pressure so far. They have been piling it on Siena Heights at the moment. And that's a nice turnaround, though. 11 scoring the opening goal. Took a minute 10. A lot of ETSU pressure, but Siena Heights, they break out and find first blood.
As soon as they decide to get a little physical, they create some space for that counter, and 11. Good finish from him. And Fuge, really good stuff from him to create all that space for his team to get out of their own half. And let's see if ETSU can respond, because they've been getting all that good pressure, like you said. But let's see if the floodgates are open now for Siena Heights.
That's a good clear for a drift to make sure those floodgates stay sealed. But 11 again, flipping the field on ETSU, looking to double that center, and plan executed perfectly. Yanini putting in the second, and Siena Heights have a 2-goal lead.
There we go, just like that. The momentum has changed to a 2-goal lead after all of ETSU's early pressure. Siena Heights now, after just a little bit into this game, have a good foothold in game 1. And like we said before we started this thing, this game is very crucial in a BO5, especially when there's no, when it's only single elimination.
Landon, a little bit of room to show what he's capable of. The post denying what would have been a phenomenal finish, and the opening goal for ETSU. That one hurts a little bit. I wanted to see that one go in.
I can't believe it didn't, just denied by the corner. But a good confidence booster, because a lot of good mechanical skill, but it doesn't matter. The pressure's still on. 11 scores his second in this game off the crossbar and in off this car yet again, though. A very unorthodox double, though.
I don't know how he read that. Honestly, that ball had so much heat on it. To get the read off the bar to put it in is extremely impressive, and that's the difference right now. Siena Heights are making those goal line reads, whereas ETSU haven't yet found a rhythm out in front of the SHU goal line. So 3-goal buffer for Siena Heights. And really quickly, some housekeeping with the stream. Some people were telling me my mic was quiet. If it's good now, please let me know in Twitch chat, because obviously I only hear myself in my room. I'm not listening to any kind of feedback. And also to answer that question of how you join with your team. If you are a part of a collegiate roster, you want to compete on Monday Night Lights, hit me up on Discord at MrBepic, and we'll talk it through and get you situated either for a show match night or for a tournament bracket night. So hit me up there, and back to the action here as we have just crossed the halfway point of game 1.
Yep, right now, just things have settled down a little bit after that 3-goal flurry from Siena Heights. ETSU is just trying to get back into this thing, just continuing to try and take more midfield control, and now they have it squared away for a second, but that pinch off the back wall from 11 is going to be fantastic in trying to get their offense rolling yet again.
2 minutes left, and ETSU need any kind of catalyst to get on the board here. Heights there in a tough spot. Landon popping that ball off the ceiling. Adrift is there for the finish, and there you go. Finally, ETSU starting to get a little bit of a rhythm out in front of the net. Great setup by Landon. Even better finish by Adrift.
Yeah, insane pass there to finally get that offense going. And now that they have, there's still plenty of time left to make this comeback happen. So, curious if ETSU can pull this one back and have a real competitive game number 1.
Now they've got the offensive firepower to get back in this game. Just a matter of, do they have that readily available in the game 1 of this best of 5? I don't know what teams' warm-up is like for these kinds of tournaments, if they are scrimming or just playing ranked or just coming in cold. But game 1 still important. ETSU looking like they're getting a little bit better, but Siena Heights have been so good up in the air. That is wonderful from Yanini. Nice setup. Didn't have any teammate there to finish the play, but eventually it works into a shot, and Siena Heights counter what was the first goal for ETSU a second ago.
Yeah, just eventually after all that pressure, all those great touches from Siena Heights, they end up with an open net, and that dunk from 11. Fantastic. These guys just taking turns setting each other up for these goals.
It is good to see that the team plays from Siena Heights working this early on in a tournament where I'm hoping if they do advance from this round 1, they can take it to a UTK that I expect to be joining them in the semifinals. But that's a completely open net that both Landon and Skyline probably could have scored on as they both go up for it. But it's Landon that finds contact.
Yeah, both of those guys definitely in a prime position to knock that win. All they had to do is tap it on net, no goalie in sight. So they get another one back. And with a minute left, I still don't feel comfortable writing them off. But Siena Heights kickoff goal, that is the last thing you want to see if you're ETSU. An instant return goal off of just a kickoff that they had no follow for.
I was with you, though, not wanting to count out ETSU at the end of this game, but just both times, it felt like ETSU was about to get back in this thing. Siena Heights have an immediate answer. That one off a kickoff, and that is not good from East Tennessee. Good shot by 11, but I don't know what happened to Skyline right there. Oh, the double jump.
That's unfortunate, and another kickoff goal goes the way of Siena Heights, and now I think it's more fair to maybe write ETSU out of game 1. But a lot of promise from them, especially offensively. They were still able to get a lot of their offense off. It just took until a little bit too late in the game for the goals to start flowing for them. But hopefully they can carry in that momentum into game number 2 and make the series a close one, as it, honestly, despite the scoreline, kind of feels like it will be, just based on game 1.
I agree with you. There were a lot of mistakes on the ETSU end that were made thanks to Siena Heights looking like they just came into this game a little bit warmer, both mechanically and just fundamentally. They were getting great touches in the offensive end, playing solid defense to set up their offense, and ETSU found ways to try and get back in this game, and if that continues and their defense shores up a little bit, we'll definitely have a closer game too. But Siena Heights, absolutely the better of the two teams so far, and as the final seconds do tick down, I'm looking at scorelines elsewhere, with Tennessee winning game 1 over Florida 5-1 right now, and Davenport took game 1, but only by 1 goal over the Texas Longhorns. So a close game and a blowout to join this kind of game 1 blowout we got on our stream.
Yeah, I think maybe not too surprising. I mean, game 1s are hard to read into, but yeah, Davenport and Texas I kind of thought would be a pretty decent series, so it's good to hear that that is a close game 1. And, you know, Tennessee, like you said, you think UTK will be the team that the winner advances here. I think I would have to agree with that as they look to defend their MNL title.
Yep.
But Siena Heights right now looking in a great spot to do so. They just need to piggyback off that momentum in game 1. They looked so solid in the air. Their midfield control was really good. They continued to find creative ways to set each other up, and hopefully they can do the same in this game for their sake. But ETSU is going to be itching to prove that that game 1 was a fluke. So we're jumping right back into things.
All right, let's see if that game 1 was a fluke. Kickoff won momentarily by ETSU. That was a great bump by the cheater on Siena Heights to clear the zone, get it away. Make sure ETSU don't find an opening opportunity just yet. They are fighting for the ball right now. Skyline gets access to it. He's dangerous mechanically. That's It's a nice light flick to get to the first challenger, but Fuge on the back end through the corner, doing well for Siena Heights to stop the ball and make sure there are no early chances on target for ETSU. 30 seconds in, looked like they were going to develop one, but creative defense right now from Siena Heights. The chip plays, the bumps on low boost, making good challenges. It looks very good for SHU.
Yeah, they've also been doing a fantastic job of continuing to pressure that backboard, making sure these guys can't get off any of their high-level plays, but there, just a defensive mistake leads to Skyline breaking things up for ETSU right here. Just a light touch, definitely a good fake from him, and 11 just completely thrown off, and the man in net definitely did not expect his teammate to go past that one there. So, ETSU is going to have their first lead of the series here in game number 2.
All right. That was definitely a mistake forced by Skyline's touch. I think they were expecting a harder one. As if they're familiar with Skyline's game, I don't blame them, as he is very lethal when it comes to finishing opportunities. Whoa. But speaking of which, Yanini, the one player on this roster I didn't get to watch the last time Siena Heights was on Monday Night Lights, showing everybody what he's made of.
I can't believe he got a flip off that. That was ridiculous. So low altitude flip reset where I couldn't even tell in the replay how he got all four wheels to that, but creative offense yet again from these guys. And they're right back in things. They do not let a goal go unanswered for much of any time at all, it seems like.
Oh, and they might be adding their one goal, but nice interception. ETSU getting away. Their counterattacks have been good. They get quick shots on target. Make sure you have quick feet in defense when transitioning back, but ETSU right there established themselves in the offensive zone for just a second while Siena Heights was still getting set, forced the miss in the corner. That's 2-1.
Shaping up to be a scrappy game too. Another, I feel like that one a little bit more unforced of an error from Siena Heights, just unable to get that touch off the wall. Well, let's see if they can, I mean, the kickoffs. This cannot be the part of the game that ETSU is going to end up dropping this series for. They just can't get a kickoff right at the moment, and Siena Heights continues to capitalize on it.
I chalk that up a little bit to ETSU maybe not having a ton of experience playing with each other. I know these guys are friends. They play a lot with one another, but in a competitive setting outside of LANs, I don't know how much they actually have competed together. And so those kickoff strategies, maybe Siena Heights just a little more seasoned in that department. I'm not sure, but a lot of kickoff goals being conceded by ETSU that they're having to work around in the offensive zone. I mean, they conceded 2 or 3 kickoff goals that they're trying to make up for on the offensive side, doing a good job of, but if you take away the kickoff goals, these are much closer games.
Yeah, absolutely. But they've still, like you said, managed to make up for it a lot, and right now we're seeing one of those possessions where it feels like only a matter of time, but that's a great clear. Let's see if 11 can hit this one. No, just a little bit off. That would have been a huge goal from them in transition, but leaving the gap still open for ETSU to strike on offense. Their pressure in this half has been so solid all game.
Oh, good touch by 11 right there. Taking that ball, it was hard struck, placed it in the opposite corner. Good control. Siena Heights staying layered in defense. The third man picks up a shot towards net. That was kind of dangerous if you're not prepared for it, and turn it immediately into a clear, potentially an ETSU mistake. Land to let that ball leak center, but a drift on the goal line does well. Now upfield looking for a clear, but finds Fuge right in his face. Landed backwards on the goal line. It is sketchy right now for East Tennessee, but at the very least, they haven't conceded just yet.
And they need to keep this one out if they want a chance. I know there's still 2 minutes left, but it feels like these guys do not let opportunities go by the wayside too often. That was so close from Skyline to find another goal in this game. And he tries another one there, but the player just getting in his way just enough to throw off that shot. ETSU feel like they're so close to evening this game up 3-3, but the Siena Heights attack still physical as always. Sticking around for a little bit here.
Siena Heights, they play so patiently in offense. They can up the speed if they want to, but at the moment they are keeping great control of their offensive zone with good challenges and patient play, hanging back, waiting to see if the chaos that was kind of the ETSU defensive rotation a couple of moments ago unfolds into a mistake, and it didn't following the couple of scary moments we saw. And so Siena Heights, despite the control, will have to back off and retool their offense just a little bit, but I like that pace of play out of Siena Heights, mixing it up just a little bit to keep ETSU on their toes. Springing quick counterattacks one way, and then the next possession, it's very slow and methodical. But they didn't yield a goal, so final minute, we're still tied up at 2 apiece.
Yep, and no one scored for quite a while in this game. I thought this one was shaping up to be a pretty high-scoring affair, and so no one yet to break the deadlock. It could be 11, but adrift. Good pinch off the top of his car. Siena Heights looking to break it here, but instead it should be a counter. Adrift fires one. Easy save for 11 as they go on the attack yet again. More back and forth. No one really has a foothold in mid, so they can't quite keep either of these teams pinned back for now. Nini, though, is going to be the one to try and do that for his team. He might find someone center, but 10 seconds left. Landon has a chance through midair. Fuge has to make a good save. With little time left, it feels like this one is directed for OT, but Adrift has a chance, Bepic. Oh, so close. Just a little bit off target. Now we're in OT in game 2. Wow.
I was holding my breath there, though. Adrift with that kind of space off the back wall is not a nice sight for Siena Heights fans. This isn't either. That ball skipped right out in front of the SHU goal line. That ball going far side. It's collected by Yanini, screening back on the goal line. Drift, a light shot on target, making sure 11 is awake right there, and he is. But ETSU continuing this attack. Landon, a center ball that will collect. Now Fuge trying to chase the rock down the field, catch up before Drift fields it. Trying to get the pass center down to Landon. Can't do. Siena Heights interfering with the majority of what ETSU was trying in offense, but that's a great ball down. Skyline not going to turn until now. It's Adrift taking the next shot. Skyline keeping possession going, but Siena Heights, I don't know how they got out of that.
Yanini has made some massive touches down the line here. He has been incredibly clutch for this team to stay in this game too. And hopefully his team can meet him right there with him as he tries to set up Fuge down low. Siena Heights now has a good chance here. It's Adrift maybe. A bit awkward on the sidewall. 11 tries to take it over, but he's still in the area. He's got full boost to his name, and it's a pretty decent clearance to get things out for the time being. Landon, though, measures him up, looks for the demo. And these guys just back and forth. At the moment, no one can really break this deadlock. It feels like this could go on forever. But it's going to have to probably be some sort of counter at the moment, because when these teams get locked in defensively, at the moment, they're not making any big mistakes at all.
This is a wonderful chess match between two grandmasters of mechanical ability. Both teams have shown they have incredible ball control when they are on ball. And it's so much fun to watch the defenses have to react to that, get good touches, use one another to clear the zone. I am enjoying this. That net is open, though, but the post denies the initial shot from Adrift. But Skyline is there to clean up. East Tennessee win overtime #1, game #2, and level up the series.
And it took us nearly 4 minutes of in-game time to have just one simple mistake. It took so long, but a double at the very end is their undoing. And wow, ETSU a absolute grind to get there. And now they've evened the series back up. And all the games count for the same. It doesn't matter if you got blown out in game 1. I bet that feels good to get back on side there.
Absolutely. And to have it finish is kind of a sigh of relief with the net being so open right there. Siena Heights was playing stellar defense, but one double commit in the midfield is what ends up costing them. And that actually led to another one of ETSU's goals, a double commit, 2 players going for the ball. Siena Heights perhaps playing a little bit too quickly at times, but for the most part, pitched a great game. And just, we're up against a really good team in ETSU that could do similar things on the ball and defensively. So it's best of 5. It is heating up right now. I am very happy that I selected this match to be streamed today, because Siena Heights and ETSU are phenomenal matches for each other.
Yeah, it looks like couldn't get any closer, especially after game 2. But I'm curious here if those two teams learned anything about maybe some habits that they couldn't quite tell in game 1. They just played each other for just about 7 minutes, so let's see if anyone can take anything they learned from game 2 and apply it to try and score some quick goals, get a couple easy ones past the other team here as we start things out. The same way that we ended it pretty much, with a little back and forth, but there we go. Landon finds a shot off of an awkward touch on the corner. And ETSU is going to do the same thing they did in Game 2 and go up right away.
That ball just took an unfortunate bounce for Siena Heights. Leaked out center off of Yanini's car. He was just battling in the corner, trying to get a good 50-50, but that's good offense. It's not fancy offense from East Tennessee. It's just good challenge-based offense. They get the ball into a stable position, and they nail their mark. A drift, now an opportunity to do something a little fancier with a corner redirect centered. Landon shot, though, stopped by Fuge. Yanini, though, can't get a car piece on that. 11, though, can on the goal line. Here, a pass out. Will be interfered with by the defense. Siena Heights under so much pressure right now, but they do stop that flurry of opportunities.
I'm kind of surprised they got out of that one with their lives. As the pressure there was really immense, but now they might put it right back on here as they're dissuaded from anything in the ETSU half as they turn around immediately. They're just getting great touches from their own back inside walls. Siena Heights just doesn't have enough boost when they're stuck in these positions to deal with their cars lingering, and they're getting great touches to find each other's center. But ETSU still unable to find a second goal here as Siena Heights' defense continues to do the most with very little.
That's a double commit. Fuge on low boost. You're right, very little resources. But again, doing well enough to set up 11 for a great 50-50 and send Siena Heights into the offensive zone. Follow it up until it gets back to the midfield line. We'll see if they can keep control here or if ETSU can keep playing offense. Bulk of this game has been spent on the Siena Heights end. Field domination at 80-20 right now in favor of East Tennessee. They have had so much time spent on that orange side of the pitch, but still only a 1-goal game. Siena Heights showing you the value of good defense.
Yeah, and this is probably the longest that Siena Heights has been at a deficit in this entire series. They have been really good at answering these goals so quickly, but ETSU in full control right now of exactly how the momentum is going, and that one leaks past Nini and 11. Good clearance, though. That could have been a little awkward for their team, but maybe some pressure might mount here. That shot is going to be rejected even before it gets near the net in the midfield. Here we go. There's some pressure now. Fuge finds 11 off the post. What a pass and a team play from Siena Heights to get back on the board.
That chip from 11 left it for Fuge, and Fuge laid it right back on 11's doorstep. That's a wonderful passing play out of Siena Heights. You have to be so precise with that kind of play, not just with your touches on the ball, but also the timing of it, to pop it up and not have an East Tennessee player right there ready to intercept it and destroy the whole opportunity. But the finish as well from Siena Heights was perfect. And really quickly again, results elsewhere. Florida actually has taken a game off of UTK, and now in Game 3 with the series tied 1-1, the Gators are up 2-1 over the Volunteers. So an exciting one developing over at UTK Esports. So very curious to see how that one ends. The upset might be brewing.
If there was going to be an upset in the first round, that is not where I thought it was going to happen, but that'd be a pretty incredible result as we still have maybe the most even series out of all of them at the moment here on the mainstream as these guys just go back and forth. Well, it feels like Siena Heights has had a lot more pressure, though, towards the back half of this game, which obviously led to their first goal and could lead to another one. As that one just a little bit off target, slowed down, but they're still lingering here. They have a lot more midfield control, and I think now that they've started to get in a bit more of a role rotation-wise, they got more boost, they got more resources, but just such great defense from ETSU, and now 11 trying to hit a psycho. That's a really awkward spot for him. This one floating away. Low boost, but Drift can't find it. Who's going to be able to be the team to break this deadlock? Are we going to have to settle it in OT again?
Ooh.
Oh, just as I say that, so close.
Both teams on their goal line have been coming up with phenomenal stops. The no boost stop from Adrift in a direct 1v1. He just had to get in the way of the shot. Didn't even get a 50-50. It was just a straight up block. And then 11 nearly psychoing it, and now Siena Heights performing again admirably on their goal line. This is a defensive masterclass from both teams. And I mean, you said closest series out of the 4 of them right now. Texas and Davenport are in a 3.5-minute overtime. Their second OT of this series. This one could go to a second overtime as Adrift missed a potential go-ahead goal. Absurdity on the field right now. Monday Night Lights is going wild at the moment.
Absolutely. And here we go. Maybe the last attempt for Siena Heights this game. He tries to lift it over the defense. This one is on target, but just on the goal line again. A big save from ETSU. And Landon hits it into the ground, and we have an OT in this series as well in game number 3.
My word. Let's see if it goes as long as the Texas and Davenport right now. 3.5 minutes, the time to beat minimum. It's probably still going at the moment. And knowing these two teams, I could honestly see it. How good they've been playing defensively, though. Landon lets that ball slip a little bit. Didn't have enough boost to clear the zone from his corner. So just a lobbing clear down to the other side that Adrift actually follows up very, very well. Ball out to the other end, try to get another piece of the car on it, but doesn't pan out. Siena Heights, time spent on the ball, but immediately action on their goal line. Foods had to react quick to stop that shot from ETSU. Now Double Demo potentially opening up the net, but Adrift is back in time to put another shot on the Siena Heights goal. Oh no!
Oh, and that's so unfortunate. Adrift, placement over everything here, gets it in just the right spot where Yanini cannot reach it. What a shot from Adrift.
ETSU string together their second game in a row, second overtime win in a row. They are finding ways to come out on top in a very, very close best of 5. And look at those shot numbers. 12 in this game. They had 17 in the previous. And Siena Heights had 9, which is much better than the 4. So I didn't catch how many Fuge had in the last game. But his 2 teammates had 4. So Siena Heights kind of sitting in a limited offense range relative to how much time they are spending in the ETSU zone, while East Tennessee, they are putting shot after shot on the Siena Heights net. To SHU's credit, they are stopping a lot of, but eventually your defense is going to break with that amount of pressure.
Yeah, and it even felt like a tale of two halves in that game, because Siena Heights, a lot more pressure that second half, and even in OT, that Eastern Tennessee goal that got them across the line again was a bit of a counter. They just had 2 players underneath the ball in midfield, and just you have to rely on a pretty miraculous clearance, being able to double tap it off your own backboard and having enough boost to do so. And that just unfortunately wasn't the case for Siena Heights in that game. But after a dominant game 1 performance, this series has been incredibly close. Let's see if it follows this same formula in game 4, or can ETSU close things out a bit more confidently? We'll see.
All right. Starting in game 4. I'm still watching the Florida-Tennessee series, by the way. I'm trying to keep my right eye on my other monitor, my left eye on this one, because there's still action in this one, as Adrift kicks off the scoring for East Tennessee. Great 50-50 by Skyline, and there just was no follow-up from the Siena Heights defense. So Adrift has shown he can hit shots, and nails that one.
Yeah, finding another opportunity there is Adrift. A chance for him to shoot on target, and he's taken every advantage in this game from those shots so far. No one seemingly wanting to pressure that off of the 50-50 ball. And now ETSU is still in a good spot maybe to find this one, but Fuge, good clearance. Yanini's going to meet Adrift in the air here and landed a good read. Not let things get out of control on their back line. And there's Skyline with a good demo. I thought Landon was about to pull off a crazy flick, but Siena Heights more locked in now than they were at the very beginning. Great save from them.
Touch across, find anybody, and if you were wondering, you're not following along on Hooded Mexican's channel, it's a 7.5-minute overtime, Brody. So ours didn't go quite as long as Texas and Davenport. I don't know if I'm supposed to cast right now. Like, this is, oh my word. All right, I'll cast this one. That's a wonderful play. 11 and Yanini combining after Fuge set up the play initially with the pass. Look at this, dump down back to 11. He redirects it in. That's wonderful.
Yeah, these guys, they have to make these really creative plays because they just don't get any prolonged offense. ETSU is so good at clearing the ball for them. But when they have the opportunity to make these passing plays, they've shown up right now. And there we go, back to even. Siena Heights not letting things get out of hand here for the moment. But Yanini having to clear it off his own backboard yet again. There's been so much pressure on that backboard this entire series. ETSU loves a good bit of aerial offense to continue. Oh, what a touch from Yanini.
I love the aerial attack of Siena Heights as well, though, which is why I was getting so excited on that play. As they started off this series so dominant in the aerospace, it's how they found a majority of their goals. But ETSU, you're right, they have matched them since that game 1. And I'm guessing that was just a warm-up game for East Tennessee, in all honesty, because they have looked phenomenal since, though that is an opening for Fuge. They won't be able to spin around on and get a shot off, but man, ETSU playing it close to the chest at the moment, allowing Siena Heights room to work with in their offensive zone, but stopping everything. That one included Fuji's shot denied by the post. ETSU hold on.
No way. They were able to dissuade all that pressure, and there's still more, but a drift from across his own net. Great save again. That goal line save was ridiculous, considering the caliber of that dunk from 11. It's crazy that these guys are able to hold on for this long. Despite all this Siena Heights attack, and it's just still happening. No matter what, they just can't get rid of him for now, and eventually, Yanini is able to break this ETSU defense. That was probably the longest attack we have seen Siena Heights have all series, and just unrelenting. I can't believe the ETSU was able to even last that long.
It's a testament to the quality of the defenses, and right there, ETSU, but it's also a testament to the quality of the offenses on both sides of the ball. Siena Heights finishing off that long stint of offense well. Landon nearly answering immediately, though. ETSU now a chance to set up their offensive pressure on that orange end of the pitch. A little lobber from Skyline. He'll follow himself. Landon to shoot, going far side. Gets it around Yanini, but not the post. That was a slim margin for error, and Landon just a little bit of error. The ball does stay in the Siena Heights end a little bit longer, but they counterattack immediately. Yanini, their second goal of the game, and it's a 2-goal buffer now for Siena Heights.
This one just off the back of a counter. Just a great flick from Yanini. Catches the second man off guard, and Siena Heights now in control. It's been a minute since it feels like they've had any say in these games, but right now, a 2-goal buffer. Just about 90 seconds to go. Can they hold on and force a game 5?
It's a good start at the very least. Well, not anymore. Landon closing down quickly upon 11 in the midfield. Fuge puts that over Skyline's head. A well-placed clear, and the follow-up wonderful as well. Ground pinch on target. Drift was there, made the read, and now Landon and Skyline combining for an open net opportunity missed. Oh dear. ETSU missing a massive opportunity. They are still going in the offensive zone. This is so awkward. 6 cars within a meter of each other, but Siena Heights get out, and they show ETSU how to hit an open net. We might be seeing game 5.
Heartbreak on the goal line. That is a tilter of a missed opportunity, and now Siena Heights gets to walk this one home. Man, that is so tough for Eastern Tennessee. They just couldn't find the open net. This is the first time I feel like they've really missed any sort of opportunity on the offensive side in any of these games so far. They've looked so solid. And there we go, Skyline, though. They're not going to go down without a fight, that's for sure, but a lot of odds to overcome as only 45 seconds remain, and they still got to score 3 goals to get back into this one.
And this 4th game reminds me a lot of the first game in this series, with Siena Heights controlling possession a little bit more than East Tennessee, spending long periods of time on the ETSU half, and then East Tennessee, when they do get opportunities to get out, they miss them. I mean, that's a double tap that I would trust Skyline to hit most times, but still, it's difficult, and ETSU, they can hit those, but all right, getting one back, 19 seconds left, at least having a go at this comeback, but 2 goals in 20 seconds is going to be difficult even for ETSU.
Yeah, that goal probably won't move the needle this game, but that's good confidence. The net isn't closed. You guys can still rack up the goals when your offense is clicking. They need to be reminded of that going into Game 5, because this series seems like it's far from over, and we're in store for at least one more incredibly close game. I'm sure of it.
All right, and real quick, with 10 seconds left, Siena Heights have sealed this. Remember that overtime in Game 3 of the Texas and Davenport series? It just finished. It went 10 minutes, and Texas was able to come out on top of it.
That is absurd. I guess that's karma for me saying that we have the closest series of the first round, because it doesn't get any closer than that. That's impossible to beat. So, such an interesting series down there. But we got a Game 5. How is any of the other series shaking up? Do you have any info?
Florida and Tennessee are also in Game 5 right now. That's being played out on the UTK Esports channel, with Florida a 1-goal lead with 3 minutes left. And I don't know how Bruton Parker and King are looking right now. I'll check the results tab. Okay, it was a sweep for King. So that's a
Oh,
3-0. The rest of these series, though, insanely close.
Well, King is able to wrap things up easily for them, but the rest of the bracket struggling in this first round to separate themselves from each other. I'm curious how King feels about that, you know? Maybe even less warmed up than these guys playing out these long, grueling series.
Yeah, I'm not entirely surprised about that. King is a very good roster, but the last time they played a Bruton Parker team, even a BPC team without antics, they got swept, I believe. It was a 3-0 at the SEL LAN. So I don't know what it is about the Barons having King's number, but that's going to continue because they've now lost 6 straight games to Bruton Parker. But elsewhere...
Oh, I thought you said King. Sorry, I got that backwards.
No, yeah, Bruton Parker swept them. My bad.
Gotcha.
But, all right, Game 5. I'll try to focus on this series for longer than I have been, as ETSU have the opening opportunity, slowed down by Fuge, and ultimately stopped by 11. Siena Heights, more good defense.
Man, that might end up being a pretty crucial play, because I can't believe that one didn't go in for ETSU, but not often do you have to make such a important play in the first 3 seconds of a game, but Fuge there, getting a huge save early. As now the ETSU pressure is going to mount again. These guys want to do what has worked best for them, and that is controlling things offensively, controlling the midfield. But this is going to be tough if he gets this read. 11, huge read off the corner roll-up to get this one in for Siena Heights. They take an early lead here in Game 5.
So confident from 11. Oh, my word. I didn't have much boost, but dunked the midfield presence of ETSU, and then full confidence read that ball sliding up the back wall and into the back right corner. But all right, good response by ETSU. Another counter found. It's just straight off kickoff as Adrift fields it and has room to finish.
Slugfest loading. Game 5 is about to get real good here. Early goals for both teams, and ETSU finally figured out their kickoffs as Adrift was able to make a huge play there. And they almost scored the kickoff immediately as well, so ETSU changing things up. It feels like the pace of play has increased just a little bit here for both squads as they want this first series real bad.
Well, it's looking like the winner of this first series will be matching up with the Florida Gators in the semifinals, as they have a 3-0 lead with 1 minute left in Game 5 over there, which is insanity, but this game still providing insanity, a much closer level. Closest Game 5 going on at the moment. 11, good flick. Can't get it over Landon, though. ETSU slow the attack of Siena Heights, which will keep going, but ETSU cars all over the place.
Yeah, and here we go. Another passing play loading for these guys. Just a little bit too high, but the pressure is still around. Fuge has to turn with low boost. He's going to find Yanini. He's going to take this one even deeper into the corner and look for a physical play. And I thought that touch could have been tough for 11 to read, but either way, this guy feels like he can read absolutely everything as they're able to find a second goal here off of a very unorthodox play from Yanini.
Yeah, diving for Skyline there on the back wall. I don't know if he was going for a bumper, never even got it, honestly, but I think it interrupted Skyline's timing enough where he couldn't jump off the back wall and read the ball with how quickly he was moving through the corner. So, unorthodox, yes, but it works. Siena Heights find themselves a lead in Game 5. They look to add to it, but just can't hold on to that pass across the ETSU goal line. And so, Siena Heights backing off. ETSU an opportunity by way of Landon. Double tap, no good. Great stop by 11.
He can't stop. It's just his gift. He can read absolutely everything that's about to happen right now. 11 continuing to be huge for Siena Heights, as I thought he might get that double tap as well. But still, Siena Heights have the lead at the moment. They're still looking real confident offensively. I'm curious if they're going to be able to extend it, or is ETSU going to answer things and make it a lot more even of a Game 5 than we saw in a Game 4. Landon's up. Could be a good pass. Yanini has to meet him there, and it's cleared for now.
He's going to track it down, and right now for Siena Heights, that would be the player I want to see on the ball. Yanini has been taking over at times in this series, and obviously Siena Heights playing around each other very well. The passing plays they've been putting together have been phenomenal, but I'm enthralled with what Yanini has done on the ball throughout this best of 5. But still, Siena Heights only a 1-goal lead, and ETSU fighting from behind will flip the field. Adrift, though, can't read that off off the back wall, and ETSU missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if he even knew how open that net would be for him, but instead ETSU still has to find this tying goal in a different way. It's a great clear from 11. There's Skyline. Maybe a little quiet in the last couple games, but he's definitely one to pop off here in just a minute, surely, especially if ETSU still has something to say in this game. We're down to 90 seconds remaining, and ETSU finally have some life in Siena. Heights is half of the field. That one so close yet again, and they got to stop Fooch from clearing this. And they do.
Heart attacks.
Oh, man, it's so close.
Heart attacks for Siena Heights fans on the goal line. Again, it's so close for ETSU, but they can't find the shot to go. Yanini, 70 boost, awkward off the back wall. Skyline will pop it up. Adrift will extend, but Fuge, the last man back for SHU, will get the ball away over the midfield line and deeper into ETSU territory than Siena Heights has been in a while. Final minute of Game 5. Thank you for the raid, UTK Esports. I'm sorry about the upset, but okay, Siena Heights not interested in any kind of upset seeding-wise, as they are now up by 2 goals with 45 on the clock.
Wow, Fuge, huge goal here, 3-1. Siena Heights just making the most of every opportunity they're presented in this game. Looks like with 44 seconds left, ETSU needs a huge shift, but no, not again. The kickoffs continuing to be their demise, as in this case, just a great follow-up from Fuge. And a last-second realization that if he turns here, he's got a chance. Just huge heads-up play from him, and now Siena Heights looks like they got this one wrapped up.
Yeah, ATSU, they've got a cannon of an offense, but 3 goals in 40 seconds might be a little bit too much with the answering ability Siena Heights has shown throughout this series. So we'll see what they can do. Starting in the defensive zone, there's a passing play to get out, and that ball, if it was on target, it was in. Fuge still last back. We'll make a good read on the goal line, and that, I feel like, is the final nail in the coffin for ETSU. A phenomenal series I don't know if this is their official debut as a roster under the ETSU banner, but they looked very, very good, and I'm extremely excited to see what they can bring this upcoming season.
They've shown so much promise in the series, and maybe it's just that slight experience factor that doesn't quite bring them to the line in this series specifically. But they look really, really excellent. It's a tough Siena Heights team that absolutely brought it to that day.
They look good all around. I can't wait to see Siena Heights in the next round. They will be playing in the next semifinal on stream. That will be a best of 7 between them and the Florida Gators. Hammy Crackers making his official debut with that roster, and they upset UTK in their first series. So an impressive result over there. Siena Heights, an impressive one here. That is just 2 high-speed trains that'll be connecting in the next semifinal, Brody. I'm excited to see that one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, a lot of good stuff lined up. I don't even the Texas series is definitely not over yet as well, so we don't even know what our second semifinal is going to be. But the fact that we're going to have a new champion is always something to stay tuned and be excited. Tough upset.
No kidding. I knew that roster would go through some growing pains. I mean, the Tennessee roster of this past semester, integrating Crisp, did the same thing, where they were favorites going into lands to win. And I remember the Bluegrass Boost battle. I know Akron was the full favorite there, but you expected Tennessee in that grand final with them, and they lose completely unexpectedly before even getting to the grand finals. And so I remember them talking to me about that, saying that loss is what sparked them to start taking things a little more seriously and actually lock in for the rest of the season. And I mean, 3 land wins, under their belts after that. Monday Night Lights tournament win last Monday as well. A lot of teams figuring things out kind of at the moment during the summer portion of the season, because some teams are completely fresh. I mean, with Hammy Crackers entering the Florida roster, that's a new look team. Bruton Parker and King both similar rosters from last semester. BPC still looking good, Brody. I know you're happy about your Georgia boys doing well.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you wrong at the beginning, so I thought King won, but BPC made it last week all the way, right? They were in the finals, so
yep.
Now they don't have UTK staring them down at the end of that one, so I'm curious if their confidence levels have gone up a little bit, but excited to watch the rest, and thank you for having me. appreciate being back. So good luck with the rest of the tournament, and I'll hand it over to you.
I appreciate it, Brody. Thanks for joining me. We are going to go to a short break, but Aviator, I saw that 12-minute overtime. That is absolutely insane. I cannot wait to watch you guys in the semifinals. Give me another OT. You gave Hooded one. I'd like to see one as well in a little bit, as it is Siena Heights versus Florida coming up in a little bit. It's like a short break, but hopefully it is very, very short. I want to give you even more insane action on this fine Monday night. So thank you for joining me for the first one, and we'll be back in just about 5 minutes time. See you there.